What is up, guys? Welcome back. This is Cedric. Today, we're gonna continue playing Black Ops 6 because I'm that crazy. Honestly, I have never really paid attention to how much attention Black Ops 6 gets on YouTube, because I know that a lot of people are feeling a certain type of way about Warzone and just the game overall. But like I said on previous videos, I'm going for Dark Matter. I'm super late to this, but we're almost done actually. I got Dark Spine on all weapons so far, except the new melee weapons that they added for like the Ninja Turtles and stuff. But now I can go ahead and unlock Dark Matter on the weapons. I am probably gonna start with, I don't know, I usually go with sniper rifles because they're usually a little harder to get, and I guess I'll do that. I know that on most videos I usually have like a very specific topic that I want to talk about, but just like on the previous one I was talking about servers, a little bit of a complicated topic, to be honest, to dive in, because there's a lot of technicalities on servers. But I wanted to sort of bring that to attention because I think not a lot of people talk about server stability and just server performance on Call of Duty that much. Like, I know certain people mention it every now and then, at least on Twitter, when I look at posts about updates and stuff, or tweets about updates that are upcoming. Something that I was thinking about this morning, because I did have to drive to the airport, and on the way back, I was thinking about what to make this video about, actually. I was thinking about relationship stuff, and I feel like it's really difficult for people to just talk about how they feel about someone and how it feels to try to understand how the other person feels about you, because there's a lot of cases where you feel like someone is interested in you, but at the same time they seem uninterested. That makes it a little complicated, right? It makes it complicated to think about and to sort of try and process. This is gonna be interesting because I had to get 5 kills without dying. It makes it complicated because there's a lot of stuff that you can't really control, right? And there's a lot of stuff that you can only get an answer to from someone else. And sometimes when you ask, they still give you no answer, and that just makes it a little more complicated. Again, because sometimes people show no interest and then they show a little interest, so it just makes it the more confusing. It got me thinking, not only does it happen with like relationships, but it happens with, come on, peek. Oh, come on. Not only does it happen with romantic relationships, but it also happens with friendships, right? Sometimes you have to make a very tough decision. Do I continue trying, or do I sort of stop? Because I don't want to say give up, because maybe it sounds a little too negative, but essentially that's what it is, right? You have to move forward, and kind of, they're not bringing anything positive to your life, and instead they're just sort of taking. Ooh, get cooked. Sometimes maybe that friendship is not really adding or giving you anything positive, so you have to make that decision, right? Should I give up, or should I continue trying, maybe to help them out and figure stuff out? Sometimes it's also very hard to understand that it's not on us to fix people, and it's not on us to make their life easier. Worrying about what they're thinking about, why they're doing certain things, it just makes it the more frustrating or upsetting. And that's why you have to make that decision. That's essentially what I was thinking about. When is it time to give up on someone? How do you make that decision about giving up on someone? Because the relationship has a high emotional cost on you, on your mental state. And that's what makes it difficult too. Because it's someone that you care about, because it's someone that you care deeply about. Maybe you feel a certain responsibility about their well-being. It's not on us to fix people. It's not on us to make them feel better and sort of be ready to have a healthy relationship, whether that's a friendship or like a romantic relationship. And as a friend, it does make you wonder, when is it enough? When is it enough? When is the stuff that the person is putting me through is enough for me to just stop, right? Stop trying to fix them, stop trying to be there for them, because it's just making me feel awful, right? They're making me question whether I'm worth it, whether I'm the right person, whether I'm good enough or not. And it's such an interesting feeling, because I guess it all comes down to our upbringing, how we try to fix people because maybe we had a high burden on ourselves when we were younger to take care of other people, either our parents or siblings or just any family members. Sometimes it's very difficult to put yourself first and make that decision and say enough is enough. I should be focusing on my well-being and not someone else's. But then it's also, I was also thinking about, how do you know what exactly is enough? Because sometimes, you know, people can be very straightforward with you and tell you, you know what, I'm not good, I'm not ready, I need time because I have a lot of baggage. I got a lot of stuff I carry that I still haven't let go of. So you want to try for them, right? You want to try and help them out as much as you can, while it's not your responsibility to fix their issues or make them feel better. Sometimes you still feel that responsibility to try and help them out, right? And be there for them. But when it does have a high emotional cost on you, how do you determine what's enough? What should be the deciding point to say, you know what, here's where I stop, here's where I put my foot down and say, you know what, I'm tired of this, and either cut that person off or maybe distance yourself. And especially with relationships, because friendships can be a little different, because it can be a bit more flexible to just cut someone off. Of course, still difficult, but it all comes down to how long you've known this person, right? And with relationships, at least most relationships, you tend to have a deeper connection with the person, and that's why you're in a romantic relationship, or you're trying to be in a romantic relationship, right? Maybe you're just friends and you're showing your interest, but that other person is either not ready or they're not interested, and maybe they have shown signs of interest, but then they also show that or say that they're not interested, and that's what makes it very confusing. And that's why I was wondering, when should you say this is enough? I need to stop trying for them, stop showing them interest, and just kind of focus on other things, maybe on yourself or other parts of your life. And it's a hard question, right? I'm not saying you should answer it for me, but I wanted to just kind of discuss it with you, because it's hard to decide, man. It's hard to say, you know what, this is taking too much of my mental stability, of my well-being, and I don't know when would be the right point to give up. Because picture it this way, right? You're interested in someone, and that person has shown you interest, but then they also don't show you interest, right? They could even say to you that they're not interested, but then other times they'll say things or do things that seem like they're interested, right? Now, you should always take their word for it, right? If they say, I'm not interested, then that's it. They're not interested. But if you really want to try and show them that you're interested and be there, and hopefully one day they'll give you a chance, how do you find that point where you say, you know what, here's where it's just, I know it's not gonna work, and because of that I need to cut them off, right? Because it's hard when you care for someone, right? If you met that person recently and you're trying that hard, that's slightly different, because you shouldn't be trying that hard if they're not showing interest and you barely know the person. But let's say that it's someone that you've known for a while, and it's someone that you know that, yeah, it's someone that you share interest with. So it gets a little difficult to cut them off because you care for them and maybe you're really close with them. For me, it's a difficult decision to make, right? You never really know when enough will be enough. Does it depend on the person? Does it depend on the situation? Should it always be the same? You know, relationships are difficult. I don't know if it's probably different for you guys, but most of my life I spent thinking that I was supposed to find the one. I was supposed to find someone that will be the exact person that I need in my life and that it's necessary for my life. But at a certain point in my life, I realized that that's not a good way to see things, because if you think that someone is gonna be the one, then when something happens and you lose that person, you'll feel like that's it. That's the end of the game for you in a way. That's the end of your love life. When in reality, it's not that there's this one person that's the only option and the only one that is meant for you, right? Because I also spent a lot of time in my life thinking that I was destined to meet one person, and that one person will be the one, right? And I guess that comes from like movies and TV shows and stuff like that I used to watch, that tell you this story about this love story where guy meets girl or girl meets guy, and they're exactly what they've been looking for, and they're exactly they're the right person for them and stuff like that. And in reality, it's not really about finding the one that is perfect for you, because that's impossible. Nobody's perfect, and you can be good, but you can't really be perfect, right? And because of that, it has to come to a point where you understand that it's not about finding the one, it's about crossing paths with a person that will add to your life, and that you like spending time with, and that you share interest with. But it's never, and those things will always be valid, but it's not like there's only one person that will fit that criteria, right? It's not like there's only one person that you'll enjoy spending time with. Come on. Damn, he was not happy. Like, those things are still valid, right? But it doesn't mean that there's only one person that will fit that criteria. I mean, there's a lot of people in this world. There's billions of people. At some point, you have to realize that you'll find someone that meets that criteria, but for whatever reason, it may not work out. And eventually, you might find someone else that will also fit that criteria, right? And I'm not saying that just because you find someone that also fits the criteria, you'll date two people, right? That's not what I'm saying. Now, if you're into that stuff, then that's completely fine. But if you're into being with just one person, that just means that, you know, you'll work on that relationship, because relationships take work. It's not just you'll find the perfect person and everything's gonna work out exactly as in the movies or a TV show. And there's a lot of stuff that you can't control. It's hard to make that decision of when you need to stop trying and just cut someone off because they're detracting from your life, because they make you feel like you're not enough, or maybe that no matter what you do, it will not be what they want, even though they may say that's what they want. Maybe you're just not the right person for them, right? And you don't meet the criteria that they want, even though you're trying to do the things that they want. And then it's also a question of, you don't have to change to adapt to someone that you're interested in. You'll meet someone that has the same interest that you do and that you enjoy spending time with, and that they also share similar values and ideas or beliefs, and that's when it'll work, right? Again, it's a question about understanding when to stop. I wonder, how do you determine when to stop, right? When is it the right time to say, you know what, that's it, I can't keep trying because it's not gonna work? How do you know that it's not gonna work? What makes you decide that, or what helps you decide that? And it's also about understanding that just because it doesn't work with one person, it doesn't mean that you're never gonna find someone else. And I spent a lot of time in my life thinking that I had met someone that I thought was the right person, and after it did not work, I thought that maybe that was it for me, right? But that's not the case. And sometimes watching rom-coms and stuff like that sort of feeds this wrong idea that there's only one person that's right for you and that's gonna be perfect, when nobody's perfect. And there's also a lot of stuff that you can't control. So let's say that you want to keep trying, right, for that person, be it a romantic relationship or a friendship, right, in case it applies. you also have to understand, and in a way that I had to learn this the hard way, but you have to understand that there's a lot of stuff that you can't control, and you have to be okay with that. Because the more you worry about the stuff that you can't control, the worse it is for you, right? You can't control how someone else feels about you. You can't control whether they appreciate the things that you do, whether they'll feel the same way that you feel, right? And that at some point, maybe because you're trying to either make them fall for you, or you're trying to seduce them in a way that they'll feel the same way, right? Those are things that you can't control. You can't control what they say to you. You can't control what they feel for you, and you have to be okay with that. Even if you don't want to give up on them yet, from the start, you have to understand that you can't control when they're ready, when they're not ready. If you'll move 3 steps forward and then 1 step back, you can't control that kind of stuff. You can only control what you do, and what you do will be when you give up, or if you don't give up. And you have to learn what your boundaries are, so that you can understand, you know what, here's where I need to stop, because they're not showing me interest, or maybe they did show a little bit of interest, so I should keep trying a little further. And then what kind of actions that they could do or perform that will make you say, this is enough. And that's what I'm trying to learn nowadays, is what will be those actions that will make me say, that's it, I can't go any further, because it's not gonna work. What are those boundaries that I have to set for myself, so that I, one, don't get hurt, and if I do get hurt, that I manage to understand why that happened. That way I can learn from that, and then either try to not have it happen again, or adjust my boundaries so that I understand when would be the right time for me to not get hurt, but then also not be that kind of person that's giving up on other people really quickly. It's a very complicated conversation to have with yourself or with other people. I just wanted to hop on here and discuss it a little bit, but let me know what you think. How do you decide when is the right time to say enough is enough and that's it? How do you make that decision? Are you also in a place where you don't know that, just like me? Or what made you, or what helped you get there? I know it's a little bit of a weird conversation to have over Black Ops 6 gameplay, but it's still an interesting conversation, and a conversation that should happen, whether it's with friends or, relatives, or just anyone. That way you can start learning when will be the right time to give up on people, because they're not adding anything positive to your life. But with that said, that's it from me. I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like. Consider subscribing. They say that it's free. I'm not really sure. It might be, so might as well try it out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, that you take care of yourself, that you drink some water, and that you tell your mom you love her. It's been Cedric, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.